Okay, now we're going to look at the front view, but I think what I want to do is go back to the top view for just a second and see these two lines that are kind of running along the length of the truck. I want to clean that up a little bit. So I'm going to do a Alt, select the entire line, and let's go into edge select mode, and I'm going to deselect, shift select these to deselect them. This one here, that one. So you can see I have all these selected. Hit 7 to get back to my top view. And I just want to kind of straighten this line out. Just bugging me. So that one's straightened out. And actually want to do the same with this one. Actually just select this line here. Straighten that out. Now let me go into vertex selection mode. And just straighten it out a little bit. But I do want to keep this line here because I'm going to use that as part of the bed of the truck, I think. We'll see how that works out. So now let's go back into the front view, and I'm going to hit Z to go into wireframe mode. And you can see that I need to get these pushed over to the edge here, and somehow I got just kind of way off on my between this drawing and that one, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is just kind of get a perspective of what I'm looking at here, and you can see from the front view I have my fenders right here, and there's some geometry that needs to be pushed back here. So for example, I think I think those two and these two, we'll just move them all the way to that edge right there, and these two and these two, move them to the edge, and these two here. Actually, those could stay where they're at. They're just not lining up exactly with the drawing. So that kind of gives the fender well a little bit, but you can see it's causing a problem here, but that stuff's going to be moved back too, I believe. Yeah, it's way out here. So let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, all that needs to be moved. Just move that in. Which one is that one there? Needs to be moved in a little bit. Both of these top vertices need to come over. And that one needs to go over a little bit. So not perfect. I may still have to kind of tweak it around a little bit. Not happy with what's going on with this door area. So I think what I'm going to do is just move this entire area in. I think. Let me see. See what I'm going to screw up here if I do that. Yeah, I think that will work. Trying to keep this truck simple. I kept adding things onto it, so it got more difficult. But anyway, that's the basic shape there. Let's see what else we have on the front. Looks like maybe the door comes out to right here. But what else do I have? Got that end, which I think that's fine. Yeah, looks okay to me. I mean, I'm not going to worry too much about it. And as long as you don't, you know, if it's not too detailed, then you can go back and fix a lot of stuff later if it doesn't look right to you. So now we've done the side view, top view, and front view, and set it all up. So of course when we look at it now, it's looking even more and more like a truck. And since we got it roughed in and we've done all this work to get that done, what I like to do at this point is go ahead and get do a little bit of the fun things that we can do, and that way you know, it makes it more interesting as you go along. But before I do that, a couple things. First is, like I said, save often. I'm going to do a file save as, and I've already saved a version 1. I'm just going to save a version 2 of it. Okay, and the other thing that I want to do is go ahead and kind of roughen the bed of the truck, because that's a major part of the body as well. So I'm going to do a Control R, come around here and put in a edge here, and that's going to be kind of where the tailgate's at. And let's go into wireframe mode, and you can see I made this kind of a big wheel well part here. So take these two, just kind of move them over. Actually, let's see what I'm looking at here. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. Not a problem. Okay, take these two, wrong ones. Take these two here. Keep getting the wrong ones. Okay. Take these two here and kind of move them over, and just straighten this one out as well. Actually, go ahead and put another division in there. We will get that bend right there. And as you can see, we have the bends there. So now if we look at it and go into face mode and select the inside of the bed of the truck, Before we do that, let's create a little edge here as well. Okay, so we can select all these faces on the inside of the truck. That's not one. And kind of go into your perspective a little bit so you can see what you're doing. Choose E to extrude, and we're going to extrude in the Z-axis, and we can go down to, you know, kind of where we think the bed is going to be. Probably right about there. It's kind of deep, isn't it? So move it back up a little bit. That's probably fine. This wheel well looks kind of weird, but we can adjust that as well. So when we extruded, of course, it created these extra faces here. Just select these faces and delete them. Okay, so as you can see, my mirror, my other side of my mirror is all open, and that's how you want it to be. You don't want to have any faces connecting this part at all, because when we apply the mirror, then you're not going to see this inside area anyway. Okay, so that being done, like I said, we can do a little bit of the fun type things, and that is go ahead, do a quick save here. I'm not going to save a version, just a quick save, and go up to the little wrench, which is modifiers, and we're going to do an add modifier, add mirror modifier, and as you can see, now we have the complete body of the truck. If you didn't get that, we go into 7, top view, number 7 on your keyboard. If you didn't get that, you can look at the settings of your mirror modifier and make sure that you have the x-axis. It's mirroring it along the x-axis. If for some reason you are using a different axis, of course you can change it here. And if you're having trouble where it doesn't look like it's merging in the middle correctly, you have like a seam there, you can use the merge limit. You can play around with that number to kind of get it to merge at the right point. Okay, so I am not going to apply this mirror. I'm just going to leave it out there where I can easily remove it, because I may find out that I forgot a piece. In fact, there's more that I have to do, so I may want to take away that mirror modifier at a later time. But just to make things a little bit more interesting, we're going to go ahead and just go up to the material, and we're going to do a new material, go into the color, and I don't know, let's make it let's just make it blue. It's easier to look at for me anyway. You can make it whatever you want, of course. Okay, and I'm just going to name this material, I don't know, light blue. Okay, and then what you can do is go back to your modifiers. Let's add another modifier. This is going to be subdivision surface, subsurf modifier. And when you do that, as you can see right off, it's really smoothed out your truck quite a bit. And you can change right now the subdivisions that it is doing. If you render, there's 2, viewing there's 1. I always like to make these the same, just to be consistent. So you can see 2 is really nice and smooth. If you go too high, I mean, you can go higher, but it's going to be hard to work with. And usually what I do, I do this just to see what it will look like, and then you can actually turn the render in the view off, so all those subdivisions don't get in your way as you're working. But for right now, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come over here and just choose smooth, which gives it an extra smooth of the geometry. So now, as you can see, it's kind of neat. It's kind of nice and smooth. It's kind of weird looking in certain places, but I'll show you how to fix that. And we need to do a render just to see what this is going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and save it again. And if we hit F12 to render, it'll tell you no camera unless you already got one set up. So I'm going to go add add camera, and I'm going to hit the G key to move the camera. I hope this is the camera. Yeah, okay. Alright, so in my side view you can tell where it's at, and I'm going to hit the R key to rotate it up so it's kind of pointing at the model. In my front view, I'm going to hit 0 on the keyboard, and that will go to the camera view so you can see what the camera's seeing. I'm going to hit top view over here, number 7, zoom out a little bit, and then I'm going to rotate R, and still not seeing it. Let's rotate here. Oh, I think I know why. I'm going to go over here to the camera properties, and because I scan these images at just an unbelievably high resolution, this model is actually really huge. So if your camera doesn't see something, or it sees it kind of halfway or just partially, you can come over to clipping and just increase the clipping. So you can see it's starting to appear there. And I'm going to G move this a little bit so I can see what I'm looking at. Increase the clipping, and there it is. I hit Z there to get it out of wireframe mode. So now it's in the camera view. I always like to come over here to kind of get a perspective view. And now if you hit F12, you get a dark blob, and the reason for that is you don't have any lights set up. So I'm going to go add lamp, and we're going to add some lights. First I'm going to add a sun. So there's the sun. And you can take the sun and you can rotate it to the angle at, where the light's going to hit the object. And then what I usually do is I go over to the light properties, and it's set a default to 1. I don't want it that high. It's going to go down to maybe 0.6 or something. And then I'm going to add lamp. I'm going to add a hemi light. And if I go back to front view 1, and G, move that hemi light and rotate. I just want it kind of pointing towards the side here. Again, I'm going to knock down the energy. As you go, I don't know, around 5. You can experiment with the light and all that, but add another lamp, hemi, G to move it over here, R to rotate, knock down the power. Okay, let's render, see what we got. And there it is. Now your background may look different than mine. In order to change that, you go up to the world settings here, and you can change the horizon color here, and you can tell it, what kind of render you want, blend sky, real sky, and you can play around with all these settings here. But I'm not going to get too much into that. We're just trying to get this modeled. So you can see what that looks like now. Not bad, really. but a long way to go. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of an idea of, what it's going to look like. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go in, well, I'll show you. If I go into edit now, and I start selecting geometry, you can see all this subdivision that's going on here, and that's what's causing it to be smooth. But sometimes, depending on your model, it doesn't look too bad here, but sometimes that can really distract you. So I usually end up just turning that off. If you like it for right now, you can leave it on, but an easy way to turn it off without deleting your modifier, like I said, just you can turn off the render and turn off the visual. So now you can see it's just our normal standard model there. Another thing to be kind of aware of is when you use subsurf and it's doing those subdivisions, the number of faces that it's going to use of course is just going to increase quite dramatically, and that will increase your render times. And if you're going to use your model inside like a game or something like that, then it can cause it to be more difficult to use. That's where you hear people talking about creating low poly models and things of that nature. I was just looking and I seen kind of something weird going on right here, but it's over here. That's like right along that edge, and I don't want that on the edge. I don't need it, so I'm going to delete those faces. Okay, so now where do we go from here? We can start adding a little bit of detail just to show you how you might go about doing that.